Silence is the new luxury. How and why silence heals. Sound has become the backdrop of our existence. It's everywhere, in headphones, public transport, shops, notifications, voices, even inside our own heads. We've forgotten what true silence sounds like. Not deathly silence, but living silence, where you can hear the breath of the world and the beat of your own soul. Today, silence isn't just rare. It's elite. It's a tool for recovery, and far more powerful than we've been led to believe. Contrary to popular belief, silence is not just the absence of noise. It's an active state, one where deep biological and neurological restoration occurs. In silence, the brain switches into what's known as the default mode network, a set of neural systems that activate when we're not focused on the external world, but rather in introspection, imagination, and memory integration. Without silence, this system stays dormant. And that means we're not thinking, only reacting. Silence is essential for processing life experience. This isn't poetic exaggeration, it's a neurological fact. MRI studies show that during silence, parts of the brain associated with memory, decision-making, and emotional regulation become more active. One of them is the hippocampus, crucial for learning and consolidating long-term memory. With regular exposure to silence, the brain can even regenerate, through neurogenesis, the creation of new neurons. For an adult brain, this is rare and incredibly valuable. But if silence is so beneficial, why have we drifted so far from it? The answer is simple. Noise has become a habit. We live in a state of constant stimulation, and our brains have become addicted. We turn on music, podcasts, videos, not out of need, but to avoid discomfort. Silence feels awkward, empty, even threatening. It forces us to face ourselves. And that's something many have forgotten how to do. Yet it's precisely this confrontation, with our own minds, with stillness, that is the path to healing. Silence activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the system responsible for rest, repair, and recovery. It reduces cortisol, the primary stress hormone. Breathing slows down. Heart rate stabilizes. Muscles relax. The body exits its emergency mode and finally begins to heal. What's more surprising is that silence is more effective than calming music. In one study, participants were exposed to various auditory stimuli, relaxing melodies, white noise, environmental sounds, and pure silence. The result? Just 2 minutes of silence produced more profound physiological calm than any other sound. That's because the body associates any sound, even soft music, with potential relevance or threat. Silence, by contrast, signals safety. Even when you think you're ignoring noise, your brain isn't. The amygdala, the brain's fear center, constantly monitors the soundscape for danger. So constant noise, traffic, voices, screens, alerts, keeps us subconsciously on edge. It's no surprise that chronic noise exposure has been linked to high blood pressure, immune suppression, insomnia, fatigue, anxiety, and burnout. Silence is the antidote. Urban life only worsens this. The modern city is a torrent of sensory overload. Noise levels in most cities far exceed what's physiologically healthy. We adapt, sure, but at the cost of internal balance. Without regular breaks, islands of stillness, our nervous systems remain overdriven. And the cost of that over time is immense. Silence isn't just a pause in the conversation. It's a channel inward. In silence, our inner voice, not the one we speak out loud, but the one that narrates and reflects, becomes clear. This internal speech helps us understand ourselves, process emotions, and make sense of experience. Without silence, this reflection doesn't happen. Instead, we drift in reactivity and confusion. The brain needs silence to switch processing modes. That applies not just to cognitive tasks, but also to sensory load. In silence, we enter a state of deep work, not the focused attention used for urgent tasks, but the mental state in which insights form, where memories consolidate, and complex ideas take shape. This state, sometimes called the free associative mode, is where creativity happens. It's where solutions emerge. It's when the mind connects distant ideas into something new. The most brilliant breakthroughs rarely happen at the desk. They emerge during walks, showers, dreams, or silent reflection. Creativity thrives on silence. Neuroscientific research supports this. In silence, connections form between parts of the brain that usually operate separately. That's what enables originality, innovation, and intuition. And it's why silence isn't empty. It's fertile. Silence also enables mindfulness. Only in silence can we observe our thoughts without becoming them. We begin to detect patterns, the automatic thinking loops, the emotional reflexes, the subtle tensions we weren't aware of. Silence is a mirror. And the quieter the outer world becomes, the clearer the inner image. And here's the beautiful part. Silence doesn't have to be absolute. Nature sounds, the wind, birdsong, the rustling of leaves, running water, these don't overload us. On the contrary, they support relaxation. Research shows that natural soundscapes reduce sympathetic nervous system activity, fight or flight, and increase parasympathetic activity, rest and digest. This is why even short walks in nature, with no headphones, can feel so calming. Deliberate periods of silence increase psychological resilience. People who incorporate just 10 to 15 minutes of silence a day experience better sleep, lower anxiety, sharper focus, and a deeper sense of clarity. And it doesn't require any special techniques. You don't need to meditate, journal, or isolate yourself in a monastery. Just turn off the noise, for a while, and be present. You can build this into your day in simple ways. Skip your phone for the first 10 minutes after waking. Go for a walk without headphones. Sit quietly at night instead of reaching for a screen. Create sound fasts, a few hours with no inputs. For deeper recovery, try intentional silence for a day, no conversations, no screens, no distractions. Or take a mini retreat, 24 to 48 hours alone, in nature, in stillness. Not as escape, but as reset. After the initial discomfort fades, a calm clarity takes its place. What's critical to understand is that silence isn't a withdrawal from life. It's a way to return to it fully. When we unplug from noise, we reconnect more deeply, to ourselves, to others, to what matters. People who practice regular silence often report increased empathy, stronger relationships, and better communication. Why? Because silence teaches you how to listen, to yourself first, then to others. Silence also restores personal agency. Noise is a kind of control, externally imposed rhythms, demands, urgencies. But in silence, we remember what's ours, our thoughts, our pace, our preferences, our needs. In a noisy world, silence is an act of rebellion, of sovereignty. Ultimately, silence is a freedom. Not from the world, but from its grip on your nervous system. It's a space where you don't have to perform, respond, entertain, or be on. It's the only place where you can truly rest, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Silence is the new luxury. Not because it's rare, but because it requires intention. Not because it's expensive, but because it demands presence. Not because it's isolating, but because it reconnects us to life. In silence, we don't disappear. We return to who we are beneath the noise.